Episode 9 footage has been shown. If you are a shareholder, an investor of Disney. Yep, not me. I don't think either of us. No. But episode 9 footage was shown. We're going to at least talk about it. So welcome back, everybody. This is the Resistance broadcast brought to you by StarWarsNewsNet.com. I'm John Hoey. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is our Monday show, which means it's our news show. So we're going to talk about that stuff, that footage that Bob Iger showed investors about episode 9 that came from J.J. Abrams himself. Hey, Bob. And we're also going to talk about episode 9. So 2 stories about episode 9. One has to do with Matt Smith and whether or not that guy's going to be in the movie or not. Do you care? We'll find out. So let's bring in our crew right now. They're not in episode 9, but they are on our podcast. It is James Bainey and Lacey Gillerin. Guys, we have some other news we have to share as well with our listeners, but how are you?
Doing pretty good. I feel like Gary the Porg is being really creepy today, though. Just like hanging out.
Dude, that shirt looks like you bought it like 20 years ago. It's got that old school faded look to it.
It's starting to get there. Looking pretty hot, you know what I mean? Looking cool.
Treats from James Bainey out of the gate.
Treats right out of the gate.
Lacey rocking
how's your crisp, clean, brand new, just bought it from Hot Topic shirt.
My Hot Topic shirt? I mean, this could be a Hot Topic shirt. Mm-hmm. I'm good. I'm ready to talk about Star Wars. Mm-hmm. We're all here to have fun.
Yes. We're here to perform our podcast just for you guys.
And give thumbs up.
So guys, before we get into our poll results, I just want to say, I don't know if you saw on our Twitter account, because we haven't posted it on Star Wars Newsnet yet, so if you don't have Twitter and you're listening, you have no idea. We are going to be on the podcast stage live in Chicago at Star Wars Celebration on Saturday, April 13th at 6 p.m. So make sure if you are going to Celebration to put that in your Google Calendar or what have you. There shouldn't be any panels or too much going on around that time on Saturday. So lock us in. Put it in ink, whatever you got to do. 6 p.m. at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. We'll be on the podcast stage doing our show for you. We're going to have some cool giveaway stuff, other stuff, talking about stuff, a lot of stuff.
Lacey will be there.
Lacey will be there. James will be there. And hopefully you guys will be there. And then more details to come on that. That's why I keep saying the word stuff, because I don't want to say too much stuff right now. But we hope to see you all there. May the Force be with you until then. So guys, do you want to say anything about that to the crew out there, to the people out there in the Resistance listening?
I want to say more thumbs up.
I'm like super excited. I said this to these guys the other night, but it's a real surreal moment to be on the podcast stage of Celebration. I've kind of come full circle. Used to work there, went as a fan. Now I'm on. I've never done a panel before in all the years I worked at Comic-Con, so this is like a super fun experience. I'm so excited to be there, and I just can't believe that I get to talk about Star Wars. This is one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
Ah, that's so cool.
And well John's okay. James is the best.
I got nothing. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'm just looking forward to the whole all celebration, right? You know?
Yeah, I'm excited to meet everyone. I love meeting new people, so do not be afraid or nervous or awkward coming to say hi to me, because I promise you I am 100 times more awkward than you are. I promise you.
She is. I can confirm. Yeah. I tried to hug Lacey once and she was like, I don't hug. I was like, oh, okay.
And then James and I met in Florida. There was a good 30 seconds of what happens now?
Yeah. I was like, she's not acting like herself.
My hands are sweating.
Lacey, I've never done a panel either, so this is my first panel.
Yay.
James, I'm sure you've probably done some old promo stuff back in the day with your band and that sort of thing, but I have to echo that too. I'm excited to meet everybody, but what's funny is I'm not going to know who people are really, so if you do recognize us for whatever reason and come up, tell me what your Twitter handle is, and that's probably how I'll have a better idea of who you are.
Or what names I've made up for you. That's usually how I'll know.
But yeah,
what name did I pronounce wrong?
You've been getting good. You've been getting a lot of compliments on what you've been doing with that.
I'm so cultured.
Yeah, I believe it was Villanueva was the one who was like, you nailed it.
Villanueva.
Yeah. So guys, we'll give you more details on that, but just remember, Saturday, April 13th at 6 o'clock on the podcast stage, the Resistance broadcast, the base will be open and we'll be there, and hopefully you will too. So hopefully we'll see you then.
Imagine if it's so full they have to close the doors and you can't say that the base is open because it's actually closed.
I mean, that would be a good problem to have, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But you're like, the base is, oh no.
You just hear, the base is closed! The fire hazard! Like, God damn it. All right. Or I scream the base is open and someone who works there is like, no, it isn't. Like,
no, it is
not open.
Sir, please stop. Sir.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Sir, please.
Sit down and behave yourself.
Yeah, get out. All right, guys, let's hop into those poll results right now. And on the 1-year anniversary of the series finale of Star Wars Rebels, we decided we would throw up a poll out there to you guys, and you voted on what is the best episode ever in Star Wars Rebels. And what I did, I just kind of threw up 4 of what I believe is universally some of the more popular favorite episodes. I also told you to comment if one of yours wasn't listed, and you sure did, for sure. We have about 1,200 votes on this one. It was a very popular poll, so we appreciate that. And the results were 7% The Siege of Lothal, 16% Jedi Knight, and I spelled Knight wrong. I get that. Sorry about that. 28% World Between Worlds. That was my vote. Thought that was a really weird episode, but I liked it. And the winning vote, almost 50%, taking it home, Twilight of the Apprentice. Now, James, I'm going to start with you because you're our biggest Rebels fan on the podcast. The results shock you at all? What did you vote for? And is something missing from the list?
The first thing was I was just sitting there thinking, did he spell Knight wrong?
Someone called me out. They're like, and they said, I don't want to be that guy, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I put typical Jedi Knight, but it was supposed to be night, like nighttime.
No, I don't think you're missing anything because, I mean, you could say maybe like the finale, but I think these are all like the big episodes. It's interesting that one of those is a season opener. As opposed to all the other ones, which are more like the end of the series as they're wrapping up and stuff. Mm-hmm. My vote is probably Twilight of the Apprentice. It's just I don't know. It's like the culmination to me. Like that is the finale of the Clone Wars. Like, you know what I mean? That could have been the end of that series. To wrap everything up. So when you're seeing that, you're not just seeing the end of season 2 of Rebels, which is great. You're also seeing this thing that's been building up for 6 seasons. So I think there's just too much there to compete with when you're looking at Jedi Knight and World Between Worlds, even though World Between Worlds also has Ahsoka in it. But yeah, those are my votes. I don't think there's anything particularly missing. I think season 3's opening and finales were kind of, good. Mm-hmm. But not of the caliber of some of these other ones that we're looking at. Lacey, do you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Twilight of Apprentice is the one where she fights Vader, right? Ahsoka fights Vader.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the one that like sticks out to me. Like, I'm not the biggest Rebels fan, but that scene is unreal, and it's so heartbreaking and tragic and awesome. And Vader's the best, guys. I can't say enough that everything that Vader touches is gold. In Star Wars, like anything with Vader in it is always awesome. Mm-hmm. And then the one part where his helmet is broken and you see his eye.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. If something like that happens in 9, guys, I'm going to die. So, spoiler alert. But that's a really good episode, and I just think this series as a whole is fabulous. And Dave Filoni, you could just tell that his heart and soul went into this series, and yeah, I can understand why people really love it. Yeah,
Twilight of the Apprentice, it's kind of like one of those things where I remember when I first started, because I got into Rebels late.
Me too.
I remember when I first started the first season, I was like, oh, this is kind of goofy and stuff. And then you like think about Twilight of the Apprentice, and you're like, that's kind of dark, man. That's serious stuff right there. That's a culmination of 2 people who kind of loved each other so much, and now it's just completely bounced the other way. And seeing Ahsoka kind of kick Vader's ass was a little unsettling, because I always like look at Vader as this just dominating presence. But I voted World Between Worlds because it was just that episode is burned in my brain. Like I remember seeing Ezra walking and looking like mesmerized, hearing all the quotes, and you have the sequel trilogy characters, the original trilogy, and it was so weird. And it bothered me a little because it didn't feel like Star Wars to me. I know it's a taboo thing to say, but that stuck with me. But
it was definitely more sci-fi than usual.
Yeah,
I would
like
say
Stargate or something. Yeah. But great series for sure.
One thing that might possibly be missing is that Obi-Wan versus Maul episode.
Twin Sons.
Yeah. But I will say that episode wasn't great. Just that last final scene was great.
Yeah, but that's like the song, like that's not a great song, but you listen to it because the last minute kicks ass, you know?
Yeah.
But we have a best comment, and it was our friend Jordan Delgadillo at Delgadillo Art.
Love Jordan.
Said he's a great artist. Check him out.
He's fabulous.
He said, Twilight of the Apprentice and World Between Worlds are tied for me. So there you go. Ahsoka confronting Vader is one of my favorite moments in all of Star Wars. So that really hit home for him in the grand scale, but whether movies or everything. So great comment there. Jordan definitely got the most likes. I think he got like 18 likes on that one. So good job there, Jordan.
Killer.
And that is it for our poll results. Star Wars Rebels, great show, a lot of memories, and I think it's going to have a lasting impression. And hopefully they throw it all up there on Disney Plus so we can watch it whenever we want. But we'll see.
Really quick, Jordan, I want to give him credit. He had the meme before anybody else of reality versus expectations versus reality meme of what Galaxy's Edge is going to look like with no one there and then the crowd.
Right, yeah.
He had that out there before anybody else, and someone else like ripped him off and like put out their own tweet, and I was like, no, Jordan did that first. Jordan, I saw that tweet. I retweeted it. You had that meme first. Credit where credit is due. Anyway,
first one there. What is it? Often repeated, never replicated. That whole adage.
What?
There's an old adage.
Sports thing?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, touchdowns.
Muhammad Ali, I think, said that.
Yeah,
sports.
Now, speaking of Muhammad Ali, James, it's time for our resistance report. So let's fire that up.
It's the resistance.
All right, this week we got another call from Bob Iger. He's been on the telephone a lot lately.
He has, yeah.
Calling up JJ. This episode should have started with one of their calls about like, hey, can you send me over some of that footage you got?
Yeah. They weren't available, unfortunately.
So shareholders for Disney got a sneak peek. They got to meet up and got some glimpses and looks at some future Disney properties, including Aladdin, Avengers, Lion King, stuff like that. And one of the things that they threw in here was episode 9. So naturally, as soon as they were out of this meeting, they all started tweeting about it, which I think is crazy, but I don't know. You'd think they'd have like a non-disclosure agreement or something, or they just understand. But then
they took their phones.
Yeah, I know. So it's like, I guess they're totally okay with them talking about what they saw. Maybe they purposefully had everything planned out to be like, none of this stuff gives anything away. But we're going to talk about what it gives away. Because as these guys were talking, they gave us a couple hints, and stop me if you don't hear one that you thought was important, but Kylo Ren was seen not wearing his mask.
Yes.
And the scar. Yeah. I'm over here.
So excited.
And his scar looked maybe to be in the same spot. There was some talk about that, but I don't think that's really
JJ
anything.
Didn't move it back?
Yeah, no.
He left it.
So then there was also of a big white room, one that kind of looked like the blockade runner, so like Tantive 4. And then also there was talks of maybe it's like that Vader dome. But the big thing here was that he was in some sort of white room, and he like opens up a box, and like Vader's ashes and mask and stuff are in the box.
It's just his helmet.
So that's what I said, right?
You said ashes. It was just his helmet. His burnt helmet. The one you see in Force Awakens.
I meant like ashes of the helmet and like ashes.
Fair. I just don't want people to
things.
think body ashes.
Body ashes.
Yeah.
No, okay.
No.
But yeah, I was looking at that. There was like a marketplace with Rey walking around with some aliens and stuff like that. Lacey got a big kick out of hearing that her hair was the same. That was a question that was asked. But for me personally, the big takeaway was, did you see anything having to do with the Knights of Ren? And the answer was simply no. Nothing.
They're not going to give that away. Yeah. They're going to keep that till the trailer.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's not in there. There's nothing that they showed him.
Lando was in there, though.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Lando was also seen, but not really any details. Just said everything was like really quick. There was some behind the scenes stuff too. Ask about her lightsaber. It was never on. It maybe was in her hand when she was doing some aerial stuff. Like they had her on straps and stuff. Yeah. Lacey, let's talk about this. What was the most intriguing part to you, in your opinion, when you heard all this?
Well, the first thing, honestly, obviously, Kylo. We'll get to that in a second. I'm going to start with point 2. Point 2 is that point 2 is that they commented how Rey, Poe, and Finn were together again in one scene, which I knew John would be super excited about. He's been saying forever now, guys, for about a year, that he wanted to see the three of them together. So, John, you're about to get your wish. And then someone had asked him if there was any voiceovers or commentary or anything that was over the footage, and he had said that he thought that's something along the lines of like, we're in this together, or something was said during some of the clips. That being said, of course, guys, my favorite part of all of this is Kylo Ren. Some of my online friends here were quizzing this guy Scott. This guy Scott had no idea what he got himself into. As soon as he mentioned Kylo, he got attacked. Not in a bad way, in a good way. They were asking, like, what's his scar look like? Is he wearing his helmet? Is he sad? Is he crying? Like, what is going on?
Is he sad was a real question.
Is he sad? My girl Jess asked that. Jessica, that's for you. So he actually answered, and he said he wasn't sad or crying. He just looked like he was in pain. And I was like, typical. It's probably just his face. My soft boy is still soft, guys, in episode 9. So I'm excited about that. And I like the idea that he still has Vader's mask. I think it ties the whole series together. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I'm super pumped. Like John is pumped that the three of them are together. Yeesh. Finn, Poe, and Rey. And Rey was flying the Falcon with Poe in the front seat. So that's interesting as well. And Chewie was there, I think. Yeah. Oh, Rey has Chewie's bowcaster at some point. I'm just so excited for this film, guys. I am so excited to see a trailer. Just give me something, JJ, please. JJ, please, something.
So, John, let me ask you. Kylo says he wants to be free of this pain, but we're hearing that he is not free of this pain.
Yeah.
Does this tie into your episode 9
That is the
predictions?
Best segue into the next person you have ever done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. And he said, like, he just looked like he's having a bad day. I'm like, well,
yeah.
He didn't look like he was in pain or anything.
Resting Kylo face was said.
Yeah,
it really is. Resting Kylo face.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on here. And I'm trying. It's funny, like, as you're reading the tweets, you're immediately seeing it in your head and like picturing how things look. And I pictured Daisy Ridley doing spins on wires, and you hear rumors of some anti-gravity fights going on, and that sounds just absolutely out there, but in a good way. And then you pull back to home, back to like True North, and you're like, all right, we got the gang together and they're the good guys and they're doing their thing in the cockpit of the Falcon. I'm like, that's cool. That's old school. I dig it. I would love to see the main three in the cockpit of the Falcon, get 3PO in there, get R2 in there, BB-8 and Chewie, and let's go do something. I like that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was I do like the Rey having the bowcaster, because what if she kills Kylo?
So does that mean that C-3PO is not a coat rack?
Bowcaster? How about that?
Stop it.
Chewie almost killed him with it.
Bottle yet.
Maybe she gets it. All right, and then what was the other bit? The bit I liked.
She kills him with the bowcaster. Boom,
boom, and then she just goes. Then she just turns to Chewie and goes, "I like this thing."
What a Tom and Jerry way to end the movie.
Yeah,
that's the last scene. Guys, like as soon as he flies back,
I don't like the Vader mask thing.
Why? I'm just curious. That's not me like criticizing your point.
I was talking to Val about this today, and he was like, "Oh, they're bringing back the Vader mask. Like, how long is this guy just gonna be staring at Vader's mask? It's like enough already." And I agree.
He's brooding. He's a soft boy.
It's their way to try to keep Vader relevant, and people like Vader, just like you said earlier. Vader sells. And I don't know. It's just, what is he going to do with it? Is Vader going to talk to him? Like, it's just so bizarre to me. Like, I thought we were done with that. I thought he moved on. I thought he became his own villain where he can go beyond just being a fanboy of Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying?
What if, John, just like in The Last Jedi trailer, they reversed the clip of Rey raising her lightsaber? She actually puts it down in the movie. What if instead of opening the box to the helmet, he is putting the helmet away, saying, "I don't need this anymore. I am as evil as it goes."
That would be good. See, I need to see this clip to see what he's actually doing with this helmet, because the guy didn't say much about what he's doing with it, right? He's just in this white room. He said he opens
a box and then it's in the box.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like, what if it's like that Rey clip where they had the teaser where she's lifting her lightsaber to Luke, but in the movie she's actually lowering it. What if he's closing the box on the helmet and putting it away?
I hope that is the case. I hope that is the case.
What if he shoots it into space? He's like, "You get out."
Yeah, I'm reserving all judgments until I see the clip. But what I really hope doesn't happen, and I know they won't do this because the comics are just kind of out there, no offense, is the whole resurrecting Sith via these artifact type of things.
No way.
That's my pitch.
It is canon. It is canon. Vader did it with Momin on Mustafar. So does JJ get that weird? I hope not. With him try to resurrect some version of Vader, I think that would be so super shredder terrible.
It would be hard to explain to general audiences how he did it.
Exactly, and that's all. I've been beating that. I've been beating that drum forever.
My dad would never understand how that works.
Yeah,
and if Bill Gill's not getting it, then
never understand how that works. They used a dark evil force to bring him back to life. That's
my dad would be like, "No way."
Yeah, James, you have to think
I
from
just
the prism.
explained it to you. I just explained it to you. That's all that it takes.
You have to think in the prism of the average movie-going fan, and they're not going to like that at all. No, but they're not going to.
Just did it.
They're going to think that's stupid.
I mean, they might not like it. They might think it's stupid or whatever. Right. But I'm just saying it's not like it's hard to explain what happened.
I pictured J.J. Abrams.
I just don't understand. How is he back to life now? It's like they use. It's like,
I mean,
it's
Bill
not
Gill might
complicated.
think
It's
that
magic.
actually. He might be like, "I don't got any of those."
That would be horrible. Absolutely terrible.
All right. Well, I think that Lacey had a better point of view on this than I did. But my thought was that a lot of these scenes could be scenes that aren't in the movie.
Yeah.
Like they're
cut
just
scenes. Yeah.
They're just teased. Like, here's kind of an idea of what episode 9 is going to be like. We're just trying to get you like hyped up. So that could be something that they show shareholders.
James, don't forget where the clip came from, too.
It came from JJ, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the kind of person who would be like,
Bob, here, show them this.
I gotta
it's
send
actually
them
all
like
from the
footage
Force Awakens,
from my
none
movie.
of it's
Yeah,
right.
You guys could have this stuff. This is like test footage that we shot. You know,
right.
The shot of Lando is actually from Empire Strikes Back. They're all like, "Oh my god, he's back!" And it's like already. It's like, no, that's an old clip.
It's like just like when it edited his cape like different colors
Batman,
and stuff.
Where Billy D. Williams played Harvey Dent.
Oh, so he sent him one of those like official Star Wars 9 trailers on YouTube that's just like clips from other movies that makes it look like it's
Daisy
like
Ridley
Guardians.
Ophelia.
JJ sends Bob Iger a Mike Zero trailer leaked video.
Oh my god!
I feel like that name should be like Voldemort on the podcast. It should just be like,
I don't know. It would be pretty comical if they showed some spoiler news thing at their own shareholder meeting.
One other thing I wanted to mention, John, was you said that we're hearing these things and then we're trying to picture them in our head. I hope that doesn't turn into like the book to movie syndrome, where someone's like, oh, it's like he's like a young boy and he has dark hair and he's wearing glasses, and you're like, oh, my nephew looks like that. And then when you see Harry Potter, you're like, that's not, or Daniel Radcliffe, you're like, that's not how I pictured because I picture it like this. I hope seeing these scenes of like, oh, it's like Kylo sitting in Darth Vader's thing, and then he's got his helmet, and we're building up this scene in our heads, and then like when they show us, we're like, oh, that's not how I thought it was gonna. You know what I mean? There could be some negative connection to that. Just don't do that, guys. Like these are like people who clearly are somewhat fans of Star Wars, right? Because he was using terms like blockade runner and stuff. But at the same time, like there was a lot of stuff where he's like, I think, this and this, I didn't pay much attention, so it's kind of
also, guys,
it was going really
watching
quick.
It one time.
Yeah, they showed it once.
He had to collect that and try to process it through that whole one time without his phone. So then he goes out of it and he's like, oh, what did I just see? And I'd be like, I don't remember anything. I just got Men in Blacked. I don't remember what just happened.
And if there's anything I know about Netflix murder mysteries, eyewitness testimonies are not the best thing to go off of. Yeah. So I think that pretty much wraps up about everything we can talk about that. I think it just fed the crowd. We're all really hungry for new content, and there was a little bit to talk about today. Also, to go into that story, to add on to that story, we got a reporter who recently talked to or got a chance to sit down with Matt Smith, and it was completely about something separate altogether, but somewhere in the story, Star Wars and Episode 9 got brought up, and Matt Smith denied it. He's like, as far as I know, I'm not in that movie. So we all started questioning, like, how is this possible? Because wasn't he confirmed to be in this movie? And if you go back and look at everything, actually Variety was the one that jumped on this as an exclusive report that Matt Smith has a key role in Episode 9, but it was never actually officially announced. So the reporter, after putting this story up, she was saying, hey, no one should be surprised that he's not in the movie. He was never officially announced. And it's like, yeah, but right, a little bit like, yeah, but didn't we all think that this was going to be the case? John, I'm actually going to start with you on this one. And to give a little bit credit to it, was Emily Zemner from the LA Times, who was actually doing the report. So good on her for sharing the information online as well once she got it. What do you think about this? Do you think that there's a chance that he's just playing us all?
Yeah, I mean, I always think they are. That's my first instinct is to do that. And so I wrote up this piece at Star Wars Newsnet, and what we wanted to do was kind of take the facts that we know. So we have the Variety exclusive report, which wasn't a rumor. This is Variety, which is a big trade, and they were reporting what they called an exclusive story, which means we have the info. And they said multiple sources told them that Matt Smith is not only in Episode 9, but he has a significant role. That's August last year, right after they started filming. Then you fast forward to now, and you have LA Times sitting down with the guy, and he says, as far as I know, which is a weird thing to say if you're denying that you're in a movie. As far as I know, are you there or not? Like, what are you talking about? They film you in your sleep? What are you talking about? I'm not in the movie. So then it's like, what? Oh,
I sent him a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, it's weird. And then we got these two things. So then, like, let's try to do some kind of historical reference on this. So we look back to The Mandalorian, and I know MSW had reported that Pedro Pascal was going to be in that show. His representative then denied that he was a part of the production. So people are like, oh man, that story was bunk, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, as we all know, it comes out a month or so later, he's the lead of the show. So not only did they deny that he's involved, he is the friggin' Mandalorian.
Psych.
So it's if a lead for the first ever Star Wars live action series, his representatives can completely deny involvement and then he's announced to be in it, I don't see why Matt Smith, who I think would have a small part in this movie anyway, would just be like, yeah, I don't think I'm in it. So I think the door's not shut on him being in it. I think it's a very interesting turn of events here because we all kind of thought he was confirmed. And then we go back and say, oh, he was never confirmed by Lucasfilm. But maybe it was on purpose. Maybe there's a reason he's not going to be on the cast list. But if he's not going to be, it's going to be a small role. So I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Lacey, what does that mean to you? The whole, like, has a key role
I don't know. I'm going to be honest, and people are probably going to get mad. I'm going to say this. I don't really like Matt Smith.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I heard like a million fangirl voices cry out in terror, Doctor Who fans. I'm not a fan of Doctor Who. I tried to watch Matt Smith's season, whatever you want to call it. He's the 11th Doctor. Took over from Tennant, and I couldn't get into it. I'm not a fan. I'm sure he's lovely as a person. I'm just not a fan.
What's the doctor's name, though, Lacey?
I don't know. Doctor? He's the 11th Doctor.
Doctor Who?
Yeah.
What?
Is that really what it is? I don't think that's what it is. I think they're the Doctor, right?
Whatever. We're not a Doctor Who podcast. That being said,
I was trying to do an Abbott and Costello bit. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Totally.
What's Doctor Who?
I would think that the key role stuff, I kind of really want Matt Smith to be in makeup. I don't want to see Matt Smith on screen. I want to see him as an alien. That's what I want.
All right.
And I think that's why they're saying that he's not anything specific, because you won't know if you see him anyway.
Do you mean like how Joseph Gordon-Levitt was kind of like in the movie, but it wasn't him? Like a small...
Yeah, but I kind of want like a legit alien to have a good part.
Oh, I got you.
Like, I don't want it to be a side part. I want it to have like a legit part in the film. And I think that we could have like a really cool First Order alien, or even on the Resistance side that has a legitimate part that talks and has a couple lines. And
like Jabba.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like that plays a role in the movie. That's what I want. We need more aliens, guys.
Yeah, why doesn't the First Order have aliens? That's a good point.
Well, they are First Order.
Yeah, they're like Nazis, like space Nazis. I get that, but wouldn't you think there'd be like a Rhodian just like with a First Order outfit on, just causing problems?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if they're in this new one? He's an alien. Like, it's going to be hard for me to see Matt Smith in a movie and not think of Doctor Who. So I can only imagine that they kind of have to be conscious of that. And I know that's such a lame thing, and people are going to be like, "Well, he's an actor." I don't care. I still see his face, and I think. Just like I see Steve Carell, I think Michael Scott. It's like never gonna.
Although you probably saw Benicio del Toro's face, you're like, oh, there's Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is he in this movie?
Exactly. How'd he get there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
And that's all I gotta say on that. I don't know. Matt Smith, woo.
Matt Smith, woo.
Lacey hates Tally Lintra, Doctor Who. Let's go down the list.
Okay, I don't hate the actress that plays Tally.
No,
I just think Tally's part is stupid.
Right.
And I'm glad Kylo Ren blew her up.
There it is.
There it
is.
Enjoy.
I agree. I'm with you.
I'm glad Kylo Ren blew her up.
I agree. Bombs away, baby.
I don't have a whole lot to add to the Matt Smith thing, because I don't think I've ever seen him in anything, except I guess he was in like that Terminator movie that I saw once.
I hated him in that. I
saw that too. The whole movie was terrible, so I was
Which Terminator
sleeping
was
through it, like
Salvation,
Genesis.
I think. Oh no, Genesis. He was in Genesis. You're right.
Oh, the one with Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor. Yeah, that movie stunk.
Yeah, and he's John Connor, but like also like a young. Wasn't he?
No, he wasn't John Connor.
He was the
different actor. He was like a Terminator or something like that.
No, I thought he was like the young John Connor that like betrayed him or something, but maybe not.
His
maybe
acting
he was like
so
a person.
good you remember exactly who he was in that movie.
Yeah,
guys.
But I do know that the other actor, the older gentleman, was John Connor as well, and he like betrayed them or something. Yeah, it was a super weird movie. But that's the only thing I've ever seen him in. So the only thing that I have to say about this is that he was marketed as a key role. So I immediately thought, okay, so he's got a very important but small role, and that could be something like a Palpatine, right? Maybe they wanted to do something with that. So he's really important, and it's really cool that he's there, but maybe it's not like a big part of the story or whatever.
James,
what?
He played this super Terminator, the T-5000.
Yes.
And Jason Clarke played John Connor.
He played a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played a robot. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
maybe he's a droid. He has a British accent.
Yeah,
could be.
So then I'm thinking, okay, so he's got this key role, but maybe he doesn't actually know if they're going to put him in the movie. Like, he shot scenes, but you don't know if they're going to add it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could be like, it's okay. It could be like Harry Shum Jr. and Crazy Rich Asians. They shot the whole movie with him. And then after, they were like, oh, he's out. And they cut him out of the whole movie.
Oh, that I heard about that. I didn't see that movie, but I heard about that. Yeah.
Oh, it's a fabulous movie. Please go see it. But at the end, he comes in like magically at the end. But he was in the entire movie. And they were like, nah, you out. Yeah. That's why he's so early in the credits, because they had him in the whole time. Yeah. So I could totally see like them putting I really want Matt Smith to be an alien. I don't think we've had enough aliens in Star Wars. Is that fair to say? In the sequel trilogy, we really haven't had a lot of aliens. Like,
yeah, I agree with that.
Stand out aliens. Like Jabba is like such a thing in your mind.
Right.
The original trilogy. I'm trying to think of who else. Obviously Chewbacca.
Right.
But like,
yeah,
I'm trying to think of it.
I would say that's a fair point. It's funny, like, if you look at the spectrum, people are talking about what this guy is playing. You have people with wild theories saying he's going to be a flashback of a young Palpatine because he kind of looks bony and he's very pale and that sort of thing. James Arthur Bainey is saying that, I think.
John's Palpatine blog is saying it.
Yeah. No, I don't think he's Palpatine, but I would like to see a Palpatine series. We've talked about this. And then people are saying, like Lacey, you're saying he might be an alien and blah, blah, blah. So we don't really know. But I do, all I'm going to say is I do think he may be being a little coy here. And I think we may see Matt Smith pop up in episode 9 still.
Absolutely.
Yup. All right, guys. That's, I think, I think that's all we can talk about on that. Matt Smith, send me a DM if you're going to be in episode 9.
Yeah. Out of all the people in this world, send James the DM.
Yeah. Just get on there and be like, yo, I was the T-5000 or whatever. And then tell me if you're going to be a Rhodian or a droid.
Right.
All right, that's it, guys. That's all the stories we're going to talk about this week, except for all the stuff that John's going to talk about in the Scoundrels Rundown.
I'm doing a running motion right now.
He is.
He's powering up.
Now, we have some stuff to get into here, and we're talking about books, comics, theme parks. So let's just get after it right now. 3, 2, 1, punch it!
Punch it!
All right, guys. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has opening dates. We are looking at May 31st in Disneyland in California and August 29th in Disney World. So many people are very excited that they are earlier than they initially thought. My guess is that they put those late dates on purpose so that when they hit these actual dates that they had in mind, people think that they are ahead of schedule. And what is Disney like? Happy consumers. Great job, Disney.
See you in 10 years.
See you in... Yeah, we're not going anytime soon. Well, we'll see. But yeah, it's going to be a while before I get to go there. Those lines are going to be out of control.
Did you see on the announcement, though, at the bottom, it said, like, in really fine print, it was like, capacity is very limited.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Which makes me think that they're going to close off the section if it gets too full.
You have to be a personal friend of Bob Iger to get to certain areas in the park, is what I understand. So, Bob, can you DM me while Matt Smith DMs James and let me know what I got to do?
Password is apple juice.
To get in the park. Yeah, password's apple juice. Shout out to Black Series Rebels Alex Backus. And yeah, maybe if I call him up and do my JJ impression, I'll fool him. We'll see. Hey, Bob. All right, guys. Queen's Shadow is out. That is the book by E.K. Johnston, who wrote about Padme Amidala. I have not read the book. I don't know if you guys have, but we do have reviews up on StarWarsNewsNet.com by Kyle Larson and Jordan Pate. A non-spoiler and spoiler review, so go check those guys' reviews out. And then we also have Padme Age of Republic comic is also out, so a lot of Padme going on in the pages. And Vader Dark Visions #1 is out. You can check out the review by Yelena Beeden on StarWarsNewsNet.com. And make sure you're always heading to Star Wars Newsnet for all of our reviews and spoiler reviews on all of the books and comics, because frankly, I'll tell you right now, I don't have the time to read all of them, especially all those comics that get absolutely crazy, so I'm always reading those to be up to date on that type of canon. So shout out to Kyle, Jordan, and Yelena for crushing our reviews all the time. Great job, guys. That is it for the rundown from the Scoundrel. So now I'm going to send it over to the Scoundrelette, Lacey Gillerin. I just made up that word. I don't know. Lacey Gillerin, it is time for one of our favorite segments where we hear from the Resistance in Ask the Resistance. Lacey, what's going on?
All right, guys, it's time again for Ask the Resistance. You've got Star Wars questions. Hopefully, we have some good Star Wars answers.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
So up first is one of my faves, Ryan Simmy, who's now changed his name to Simmy on Twitter.
Lacey, you are officially an influencer. You literally had him change his name because you didn't know how to say it.
He goes to the government. He's like, I am now Ryan Simmy.
I'm now Ryan Simmy. Yes.
At Ryan Scott 00, and he asks, did Star Wars Celebration Chicago SWCC make a mistake putting the Phantom Menace panel on Monday? A huge portion of the fan base grew up on the prequels, and they knew a ton of people would travel on Monday. All right, I'm going to start first because ladies first. I personally am affected by this question because John and I are leaving Monday because we have adult responsibilities and we can only take so many days off. And this show is 5 days, guys. 5 days, which is unheard of. The longest celebration has ever been is 4. This year they're doing 5 because I'm assuming they're doing that Thursday only shopping day. So they made it 5 days to get the full 4 days of panels. Did they make a mistake putting the Phantom Menace panel on Monday? From my own knowledge and experience, the reason that panel is Monday, if I was to make a guess, is because they have not sold out tickets yet. So they're going to put something on Monday to sell those tickets out so they can say that the show is sold out and they don't have to sell any more tickets, because they don't want to sell tickets on site because that is a pain in the butt and they don't want to do it. They'd rather just have the show sold out. So they needed something to push to Monday. This was something that didn't affect necessarily a press schedule because Episode 9, the video games, if they were to do any TV panels like The Mandalorian, those need to be on days probably prior to Monday, or they need something big on the weekend to draw people to have that multi-day ticket. So the Phantom Menace is on Monday because that was the day that fit for it. They could do something clever like Phantom Menace Monday. They wanted something big to close out the show. Phantom Monday to close out the show. But most likely, if I was to make an overarching guess of what Lucasfilm and Reed Pop were thinking, it's because they wanted to sell tickets for Monday. It is disappointing because people like John and I will be gone. But you know what? They stream all the panels, guys, so you can definitely probably check that out. They've done it in the past through Verizon. I'm sure they'll do it again.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I don't know if they made a mistake. Yeah. Yeah. Please, Delta.
Lacey's going to pay for it. I'm going to use it.
Yeah, I am. So I don't think they necessarily made a mistake. Maybe personally they made a mistake, like an attack towards me. But I don't think they really made a mistake. It's just that's how it works out. And they need to spread content through all the days because they want people to feel like they got the full 5 days of cool things going on. So they needed something for Monday. So
Lacey,
that's what it is. Yeah.
We are going to have to be on Ewan McGregor watch that weekend because
I know, because that's the panel he would show up to.
Yeah, and then if there's something else we're hoping gets announced that weekend for
then that means James
event,
is buying pies and he's gonna pie himself live on the episode.
Yeah,
you guys don't need to worry about a thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the Kenobi.
I need to worry about how far I can throw a pie.
The Kenobi series is coming, but I don't know if they're going to announce it that weekend.
Yeah, they might though. They might at the end of that panel say Obi-Wan is a loved character. Would you love to play Obi-Wan again? And you would go, actually, and then they'll show on the screen Kenobi.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Right.
Ready, guys? That's what's going to happen. And you're going to remember this episode and you're going to say Lacey said that and I'm going to say I know. Anyway, next question. Thanks, Ryan. Next up is Star Wars Sessions at Star Wars Sessions. And they ask, how do you think Snoke's backstory will be handled? And also, if you could write it, what would you include? James, what do you think? You like looking into backstories and character development and talking so much that it could be a book. So maybe this is a good question for you.
This is a loaded question. Star Wars Sessions, there's no answer to this question.
Or it may surprise him.
Yeah, the answer may surprise you. How do I think Snoke's backstory will be handled? Ultimately, I think there's going to be a book that's going to talk about all this stuff. If there's any chance that this shows up in episode 9, I bet it's that stuff we were talking about, like that Matt Smith, or those like weird in-between scenes that maybe they shot but nothing happened. I don't know that Andy Serkis has been brought on, but it seems like they might be doing a lot of sneaky stuff with possibly, Harrison Ford. Who knows? He's not saying anything, but like it's a good way to get the big three on the screen again. So they're sneaking around and doing some weird stuff with this movie. So it is possible that they could have a scene, with like Palpatine and Snoke. And if I was going to write it, what would I do? I think it would be something along the lines of like Snoke was a person who was around in the Empire and was known or whatever, and then from there he was like pulled aside by the Emperor. Says, I have a personal mission for you. I want you to go off and you'll never be heard from again until like the day you get one of my Sentinels, and that begins this whole thing. But I'm not even entirely positive that Snoke would even be that person specifically, because I don't think he was the first Supreme Leader either. So I think he might have just been someone that was out there in the unknown regions and just got pulled in somehow. It's tricky.
What does that mean, James, when you say that?
What does I meant everything I said.
No. The Supreme Leader part that struck a chord with me.
That he wasn't the first Supreme Leader.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was from The Last Jedi novelization. He just kind of was kicking around some it was like an inner thought section with Snoke, and he's like, I don't know, I was never really found myself in this position. I never thought I'd be the leader of the First Order, but when duty calls, you get called to the throne, and here I am.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think they were just kind of
like
setting...
You're probably wondering how I got here.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that because the Last Jedi novelization was written or released after the movie, I think that was when that stuff got written in there. They're like, okay, so Snoke clearly isn't the big bad, so maybe write some stuff in there that was kind of like he's just a figurehead, add on to that. So I think that... There might be a little bit of a lost thread that we never get, because we always kind of pictured Snoke to be this crazy person who he never actually was, and he really was just that figurehead, that puppet. But that's I think the ultimate truth about Snoke. So that's probably how they're going to handle it from this point on, because of the decision to kill him off in order to tell Kylo Ren's story.
Do you think it has any not to drag this out anymore, but at New York Comic Con, he was doing a signing, and I met him, and Jason Fry, that
Snoke?
is. No, yeah, I should say who I'm talking about. Yeah, Supreme Leader Snoke was there, and I got the whole spiel. He was a little tipsy, and he gave me the whole deal. No, Jason Fry, and he said at that time, it was The Last Jedi had been done filming for 2 months already, and he had just finished his first draft of his novelization, so he was definitely writing that after everything was done filming. So I guess maybe that does play a part.
I wonder if he got to see things early.
I think how it works is he gets to ask certain questions, and they can tell him.
But how do you write a first draft of a movie you don't know anything about? He's got to know.
Oh yeah,
the story.
He probably gets the script.
Yeah, he probably gets the script. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I think that's ultimately the answer to that question. And we have one for John, maybe?
Yep, we have a couple more.
Seems to be the case.
So, up next is friend of the podcast, Patrick Covey at Gannon136. Patrick.
Hey!
What up, Pat?
And he asks, if Lando survives the events, ooh, this is dark, of episode 9, where would you want the direction of his character to go? John, what do you think?
I think Lando's definitely surviving episode 9. He's kind of coming in as, hey, how you doing, guys, type of thing. I don't think he's going to have a big dramatic arc or any kind of potential death or anything like that. So they're not going to kill Lando Calrissian. So we can cross that off.
Falcon. Dead.
Yeah.
It just gets blown up.
Dead. Yeah, so Lando's living, first of all, for sure. And then what do I want them to do with his character after 9? I don't know. Like, he's really old now, so just kind of, I don't know, have his own like little retirement penthouse somewhere.
Live out his life.
Yeah, maybe have a lady in his life. He's chilling, having a good time. Maybe he sees Chewbacca now.
Patrick
and
will be the first to tell you that he already has all this stuff. They've talked about this.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
but they won't. Yeah, they won't get into 9.
Yeah, after episode 9, when there's peace in the galaxy again, he's kind of gonna go off to his penthouse and have a few cocktails, have a good time. And I don't think they're going to write too much more about Lando after episode 9. It's going to be kind of just one of those things where he went off, he was a legendary hero, and now he's living his life on that farm upstate somewhere, if you get my drift. But
do not go quietly into that dark night. What's that quote? Never mind.
Okay, and last but not least is Danny at ChibiGone89. Oh,
Danny, one of our commanders.
She is. Danny, hey,
How
girl.
Is that Chibi gone? Like Qui-Gon, but like a baby Qui-Gon?
I think it's Chicago. Isn't she from that area? Isn't she going to Celebration? Is that right? I think she said she is.
So is it
like Chicago Bygone?
So Chicago Big on 89. So maybe she was born in 1989. She's from Chicago. Her favorite movie is Big, and she likes when the lights are on because she's afraid of the dark. Boom. Nailed it.
That must be it. Okay. She asks, considering the timeline in which Galaxy's Edge takes place, is there a possibility that Hondo Ohnaka appears in episode 9? So this one's kind of for all of us. I'm going to let James answer this one first because he's a big Hondo fan from what I've learned from Clayton's chat with us last week.
Not a chance.
I could have told you that he was going to say that.
Yeah. No, in weird speculative world, we've heard or we've seen from the comics that it's kind of like everybody's being pulled in, Gracchus the Hutt and all this other stuff.
Kaz.
So there's always that chance that there's this wide panning shot of tons of people and they're all like carrying pitchforks or whatever. You know what I mean?
They're all talking about oscillators.
Maybe he's in there, and then we'll get some like Star Wars show episode with Matt and Pablo, and they'll be like, "Yes, Hondo actually makes an appearance. If you look behind Finn, you know, like."
Oh my gosh!
So I mean, I think that's the best chance you got.
If you look behind the thing.
No, I said behind Finn. But
he can't see me.
Yeah. If you look behind Kylo Ren,
behind Kylo's box.
Oh yes, I am over here. That's my Hondo.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no too. I don't need to give an explanation. I'm just gonna say no.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. He's not gonna be in episode 9.
All right, guys, thank you so much for your questions. If you want to be on the show, make sure to follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN and just send your questions our way with hashtag #AskTheResistance. They can be Star Wars related or something about Star Wars. And then you can add that movie called Star Wars. Yeah, back to you, John.
Yes, and if you guys are shy, like James is, you can email us at resistancebroadcast@gmail.com too. How about that?
Woo!
We have an email.
Nice.
Free Gmail accounts.
Yay!
Guys, I have to say thank you so much
up to 200 gigs of storage.
What's that, James?
I said that Google offers up to 200 gigs of free storage.
Wow. I did not know that. Guys, I do have to say thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys are absolutely great. I feel like every time we do another episode, we have more people joining us. So thank you so much for your support, especially our generals. We have Adam Odell and Carmelo, a.k.a. A Gray Jedi, and Val Trichkoff. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for all you do. You're crushing the Patreon pod race when you come on the show. People are enjoying them. You're on YouTube. I know, Mello, you kind of bugged out about that. That's really cool. And yes, call us out by all means. We have thick skin, as Adam said. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate that. For everyone listening, as always, our podcast is free twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. And you could find us on YouTube right here, or iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify. There's a bunch of different apps out there. Every time someone's bringing one up, like, I heard you on Podcaster Nation. I'm like, you did? I'm like, all right, cool. So wherever you're listening, thank you so much. Subscribe wherever you are and share it with a friend or family member who likes Star Wars, because believe it or not, people don't know that Star Wars podcasts exist. The only way we grow is because of you guys spreading the word. So please keep doing that. Thank you so much. Guys, just so you know, as we're recording this, it's probably not anymore, but tpublic.com is where you can get our merch. We got shirts on. If you're watching YouTube, they always have sales. So make sure you're at tpublic.com/user/resistance broadcast. We have like 40 different designs. And spoiler alert, we have new ones coming out soon. I'm just going to say it right now, James. We have a shirt called Thank the Maker that is coming out and maybe out right now, which is
tease.
A silhouette little tribute to the man who started the plan, George Lucas. We have other designs in the works that I'm trying to push on James to make that he doesn't want to make. So there you go.
You could call it a passion project.
I'm trapped.
You can call it a passion project. That is a
Where's my help
copyright to the Resistance broadcast. Yeah, help. It is a passion project. Get me out of here.
They won't let me stop making t-shirts.
Our shirt designs are James's passion project. All right, guys. And then also, of course, StarWarsNewsNet.com is the site. That is where you go every day for all of your latest news, reviews, editorials, information, and more from Star Wars, all things Star Wars. As far as we go, you guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and writing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. James, what about you, man, when you're not making t-shirt designs?
Yeah, you can find me Twitter and Instagram at Myra Trunks, and apologize for the death that I almost had earlier in the episode. If anybody on YouTube is watching, listeners, audio listeners won't have any clue.
We covered for you, yeah.
Yeah, I just I had to leave. I was so in a coughing fit.
Verklempt.
Yep. But that's where you guys can find me. If you want to hit me up, just do that. Yell at me about my Obi-Wan Kenobi thoughts.
And James, for those of you who watched our A New Hope commentary, James edited that together for everybody. So thank you, James, for that. And James does all of our YouTube video work. So if you're watching right now, James is always editing the episodes and doing the...
I uploaded this.
Yes, he probably did upload this. So shout out to James on that. Lacey Gillerin, when you're not operating our Patreon page and doing your Star Wars News Net show, which is a weekly news show she does on our YouTube channel, where can people annoy the bejesus out of you like I do?
No one annoys me. I only have fun.
Oh.
People can find me on Twitter at Lacey Gillerin. I'm also on Instagram, but I never post on there, so just follow me on Twitter.
Yes, and make sure you guys hop over to patreon.com/resistance broadcast. That is our Patreon page. We have 5 tiers, starting at a cup of coffee a month, $2 a month. You get access to all of our daily posts on our main page, and then obviously there's tiers all the way up to tier 5, where our generals are, and Lacey operates that page for us. And you're doing a damn fine job, if I may say so myself.
Thank you so much.
There it is.
A DFJ.
Damn fine job. Okay, guys, that is it.
I just don't like that.
Yeah. Not all acronyms work. Not all acronyms work. But we will see you guys on Thursday with another episode. And guess what? We're bringing back our game called Who Are You? And that is our game where we do movie quotes from Star Wars, and we have to guess who said them, and we're gonna see who wins. So
only real quotes.
Place your bets. Only real quotes. Place your bets. Talk smack. Play along. Let us know how you did. I'm sure you guys do way better than we do. And until then, enjoy your week. Study up, and we'll see you again on Thursday morning with another episode right here on the Resistance broadcast. We'll see you around, kids.
More thumbs up.
Bye.